The Correctional Services Department says it will deal with unruly inmates who barricaded a sectional gate during a search operation at Boksburg prison. Chaos broke out on Monday when officials tried to seize illegal cell phones and other contraband at the facility. The department is launching an investigation into the incident and has promised quick justice for inmates involved. Let's find out more from Departmental spokesperson Singabakho Nxumalo. Singabakho, thanks for joining me today. Tell us what actually took place yesterday morning.
A very good day, and thank you for having us. What happened yesterday is something which is really disturbing, and as a department, we have made a point quite clear that such unruly behavior can never be acceptable in a correctional setup. As a department, we are busy with our festive season security operations, where we are removing all illegal items in our facilities. Also busy with searching and ensuring that inmates are safe and our officials. When the team went to Boksburg Correctional Center yesterday, the other section got wind that our officials were there and opted to barricade the section where they were. They didn't want to be searched, and that is something that we cannot allow as a department, as even law-abiding citizens, when coming to our facilities, they are subjected to searching. And indeed, it became clear to us later in the day when those inmates were using mobile phones and sending all manner of things out there via social media. So as a department, we made it clear that we will not allow that, and those inmates behind it have been identified. We'll continue to identify even others, and there are processes in place to deal with unruly inmates.
Surely, though, this is not the first search operation of its kind. Like you said, it's the festive season operation. How will a similar incident be prevented going forward?
The Boksburg Correctional Center is the 29th facility that our officials visited since we started with our festive season operations. And in all other 28, we never experienced this level of ill discipline. Hence, then, as a department, we need to step our authority, because when inmates do that, in actual fact, they are undermining the authority of the state, because our officials represent the state. Hence, then, such things can never be taken for granted. We ought to deal with those inmates who are misbehaving, who feel that just from being removed, from society meant nothing, because when they do such things, they are therefore saying they have no respect for the rule of law, they have no respect for the state. We therefore need to act, otherwise we'll run this country something else. So as a department, we've made it very clear that nothing will deter us from the operations that we are running. We'll continue to run with those operations and deal with those who think that they are above the law.
Okay, so you say you guys are going to continue with the operations, which I understand, but how are you going to ensure that it doesn't happen elsewhere?
When we run our operations, there's quite a lot of things that we take into consideration, including intelligence reports or information that we may have gathered, even the tactics that we employ. And unfortunately, I cannot share that in a public platform. But as a department, we have to remain firm. And when we detect that there is some level of unruliness or some behavior which is wholly unbecoming, as a department, we need to act. Whether it's happening for the first time or it might happen in future, the bottom line is that it can never be left unattended. We ought to deal with it. People are brought to correctional facilities for rehabilitation purposes. When they defy the rule of law, it therefore says that those people still have a long way to go. Therefore, we have to deal with them. There is no other way. We cannot surrender the core mandate that is given to us by the state. Whether people like it or not, they will be rehabilitated and they will be corrected whenever they feel that they think that they can challenge the state.
So we've just come out of the festive season. Is it easier for cell phones and other contraband to make their way into prison cells during this period? And if so, why is this the case?
Our festive season operation is not about to end. It will run until mid-January. We may even continue. depending on what we've managed to gather from our facilities and if they still need to do so. But there is a start date and end date. But if there's still a lot of work to be done, we'll continue with those operations even post the festive season. What we've identified is that contrabands are smuggled into our facilities through various means. Some of them by inmates themselves. They find ways to hide them in their bodies. Some of them by some of our officials that we continuously deal with them, not just by charging them, but even opening criminal cases against them and dismissing them from the work that we do as correctional services. And certainly also by members of the community who will come as visitors. They employ different tactics to hide these contrabands. Hence, during the festive season, we scale down on visits. We deploy more resources so that we limit the inflow of these gadgets, because our main goal is that we shouldn't have any illegal item being smuggled in. But once it's inside our facility, it is therefore important that we remove it. Hence, we maximize these cleaning up efforts during the festive season, because that's when you have not so many activities inside our centers. And we've also realized that during the festive season, there is quite an elevated number of incidents, be it assaults, be it gang initiations, and other things, which we do not want as a department. Hence, it's important that the festive season security operations must run its course, because there is a reason why we need it, and we've seen it making a difference.
You say that action will be taken, and you've promised that punishment will follow an investigation. Can you divulge what form this will take?
The ringleaders must be identified, and other participants must be identified. Some of them have been identified already, but we will want to make it a point that we get all of them, and we'll then take them through disciplinary processes. The teams will be assembled to deal with that, and sanctions will then be meted out against the perpetrators. It may take various forms, but one thing I can say is that there will be disciplinary measures taken against those who were behind those shameful acts that were subjected to yesterday. Hence, as a department, we cannot afford to surrender the responsibility that we have, which therefore says that people who decide to be unruly, they must be dealt with, and harshly so.